want to let you guys know I didn't start out like that. I didn't start out being an all-CIF linebacker, an all-state middle linebacker. I didn't start off like that. There was some pain and there was some struggle before that. You know, I grew up pretty, you know, average. You know, my parents were middle class and everything was honestly really like perfect. And through that perfection, I took advantage of my blessings. And so what ended up happening was at the age of like 8, 7, is there any 8-year-olds or 7 here? There might be, yeah, no one's here, 8 or 7. When I was 8 and 7, I was already doing some bad things. And those bad things, and I'm telling you, it might not seem super bad, but they're bad to an 8-year-old. You know, like I was getting in trouble at school, referrals every night. Like this is how bad it was. I would get a referral like every other night, and I would take it to my dad at like in the middle of the night. You know, and back in those days, we had to sign we had to get a parent signature for our referrals just to make sure that our parents saw it. So what I would do is I would take the referral in the middle of the night and I'll sneak it into the room, and my dad would be sleeping, and I said, Dad, I'll wake my dad up and he'd be all tired. And I'm like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, Dad, sign this permission slip for me. I'm going on a field trip. And he'll sign a permission slip, but in reality it was a referral. Because I was talking back to my teachers, I was throwing a rock at a kid, and throughout those years, I was, how do you say it? Not taking advantage of my blessings. And so I found myself at the age of 12, one of the baddest kids. I got kicked out of Chula Vista School District. And I wasn't supposed to go back. And my mom looked at me, and one thing about my mom is she was everything to me. She was my inspiration. She would look at me and say, son, listen, you might have made some bad choices, but that does not make you a bad person. And I came to tell someone here tonight that you might have made some bad choices, but that doesn't make you a bad person. And my mom used to always tell me, you're going to be someone great. You're going to go to the NFL. You're going to do something great with your life. And I always was like, yeah. But at the end of the day, I knew what I was doing was bad. And it was one morning on October 9th, 2009. I was 12 years old and I woke up to this. And I get up and I get out of my bed and I walk out my room and I see my dad running up the stairs into his room. And he yells at me, he says, Johnny, go downstairs. So I said, okay, like what's going on? And I get downstairs and I find my brother there on the phone with the dispatcher, and he's crying and he's in this anguish, and he's telling her, you know, my mom's not responding. She had like stuff all over her, and if you know anything, like the intestines, they come out when someone dies. Anyways, so that's what he was explaining to the dispatcher. And I looked at my brother, I said, no. What? Mom's not gone, she's sleeping. I was just talking to her last night. And let me tell you about the conversation we had last night. My mom, hey Johnny, come over here, watch TV with me. Oh no, I want to go outside with my friends. You know, I want to go with my brother. I want to go kick it, you know, over there, you know, at that spot that we used to have. But my mom was like, no, stay with me. I'm feeling a little sick. I said, no, Mom, you're okay. Like, let me go with my friends. And I actually disobeyed her, and I went with my friends. Next morning, not knowing that I would never see my mom again as long as I lived. And it was the hardest thing ever, because I sat there as all my hope that she had in me dropped to the ground. All my inspiration dropped to the ground. And all I was left with was a decaying body upstairs while my dad is trying to push as hard as he can on my mom's chest to get some type of breath out of her. And all I can hear is from upstairs. And I'm crying, and next thing you know, my dad yells at me and my brother, and he says, go and let the ambulance in, because we live in a gated community.
Wake up.
We lived in a gated community. And so I go outside, and finally the ambulance come inside, and we let them in the house, and we go upstairs, and my dad comes back downstairs, and you can tell he has this thing on his face that I couldn't even explain. I can't even explain. He ended up, you know, just staying right there trying to pray for my family, trying to pray for the situation. Then the people from the ambulance, they walk down, and if anyone has ever been through a tragedy, has been through a tragic death, they know this. The guy said, hey, Mr. Garcia, can I please speak with you? And right then and there, my brother knew. I didn't know, but my brother started bawling, crying. And my dad, you could tell he had something that he had to share with my dad. And so he called my dad, and when he pulled my dad to the side, he said, I'm sorry, Mr. Garcia, but your wife was declared dead at so-and-so o'clock in the morning. looked back, and for the first time, the strongest man I've ever met, the man who was there for it all, and for me, I'm the strongest person I've ever seen, and never seen this man cry. He looked around and he looked at me and my brother, and all I seen was tears running down his face. My brother, tears running down his face. The day I would never forget. The day that brought so much pain in my heart. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't cry in that moment because I was so in shock. I was in shock. So later on, people started coming in the house, friends, family. They started coming in, and I just ran upstairs because I couldn't deal with all the, oh, it's okay, mijo, it's okay, you're going to be fine, because it wasn't going to be okay, because I was already on a dark path. I was already doing things that were going to ruin my future. So I ran upstairs in the bathroom, and I locked myself in, and I fell to the ground, and I said, God, why? Why me? What did I do? And see, some of you have questions. You might ask, why do bad things happen to good people? I probably wasn't the best kid, but my mom, she was a pastor's wife. She would help people daily. Why her? And you might ask questions, God, why did this have to happen in my life? Why did I have to go through that situation? Why did I have to go through an abusive father? Why did I have an abandoned father? Why did I have to go through getting, sexually harassed? And I felt that same pain. And I'm telling you here tonight, that's why I'm connecting with you guys. Because I've been there. And I questioned, I said, why did this have to happen to me? What did I do wrong? And it was right there where I stood in the bathroom crying for about 30 to 40 minutes. And I came out, and people were literally right there standing, waiting for my response. Because everybody's question was, what's going to happen to Johnny? Because my brother was 18, he was 19. He was old enough to learn how to cope with it. But me, as a 12-year-old, I needed my mom. I needed her more than ever because I was still trying to figure out who I want to be in life. And so I found myself right then and there, and I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know what to say. So I ran out the house. And some of you guys know what I'm talking about. So you guys are running from your problems. You're running from your situations at home. You don't like being home because when you're home, all you do is your parents fight. And so you go out and you play with your friends at the park, or you stay after school for late night hours, and you do this and you do that because you don't want to be at home, because your home isn't as what you think it is, or what other people think it is. And that's the way my life was. And yeah, people came over and spread love and a lot of food and everything, but at the end of the day, I still had an emptiness inside. I had this emptiness inside of my heart that I couldn't overcome. That I tried, doing a drug, and it didn't work. I tried giving my heart to a girl, and it didn't work. I tried everything in the world, and nothing seemed to fill the void that was in my heart. Because at 12 years old, let me tell you this, at 12 years old, we go through some things. People think we're all innocent and we're all, no, but we go through we see some real things. And you guys might have seen some real things in your lifetime. And I came here to tell you, let your pain turn into your purpose. Let that devastation turn into your destiny. Because that's what I did. I had to make a decision in that moment and in that time. I said, Johnny, what are you going to make out of this? Are you going to be the kid you're going to be the kid that says, oh, well, his mother died, so that's why he's acting like that. Oh, his mother died, that's why he can't get it together. That's why he can't have good grades. I said, no. There's going to be no pity on me. I'm going to rise up and I'm going to make my mother proud. So what I did was, my dad had to switch schools. The reason why he switched schools is because the kids I was hanging around with were still doing the same thing. And some of you guys need to switch your friends. And some of your friends, all they want to do is go outside and do these things that you know you should not be doing. Staying out too late. And you hang out with them and you're like, you know it in reality in your heart that you want to do something different, but just because you're hanging out with those people, you do them. Some of you guys need to change your friends. And that's what I had to do. I changed my friends. I changed, my Facebook. Some of you guys need to take some stuff off Facebook. I took some stuff off of my Facebook. I took some stuff off of my Instagram. And I said, you know what, man? I'm going to change. I'm going to change. And so that's what I did, man. I changed. I ended up getting, 2.5s. And for me, I've never been over a 2.0 in my life. So to get a 2.5, I was excited. I was running home like, Dad, I got like 3 C's and a B. And he was happy too. And then next thing you know, I got a 2.8. I'm like, oh, you know, I can do better than a 2.5. And then I got a 3.0. And from there, I'm like, all right, well, let's see what we can do now. It's a 3.0, all B's. I'm going to see if I can get an A. I've never got an A before. Let's see how it can go. Ended up getting 1 A. Then it became 2 A's. Then it became 3 A's. Then it became 4 A's. Next thing you know, I graduated like senior year with a 4.2 overall GPA. And it wasn't because I have something that you guys don't have. See, that's the difference. That's the difference. Let me just say this. The difference is that what makes me different than the President of the United States? What makes you different than me? It's not that I have something that the President doesn't have. It's not that you don't have something that I have. The difference is because we all have 24 hours in a day. And what we do in those 24 hours matter in who we want to become in life. If we learn to do things that are going to benefit our lives, then we're going to see a change. So I started changing, man. I started doing things that were not normal as a 13, 14-year-old kid would do. I would say, you know, I'm not going to go outside. I'm going to study. I'm going to do my homework. And it sounds boring, but let me tell you this. It does pay off. Hard work pays off. And in that moment, all my hard work paid off. See, but it's a little different time now. Because back when I was 12, 14, 15, social media was barely getting to its peak. In a sense where not everybody was a fanatic about Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and all these different Pokemon Go, you know, all these different games that we play now. It wasn't like that. But see, you guys are living in that generation, and I'm still living in it too. I'm barely 18 years old. I'm only 18, and I'm still living in it too. So when I say this, I'm saying it to both of us, all of us, is that we're living in a time where everything is filtered through social media. We're living in a time where everything is filtered through what the media wants to project to us. And we're taking it, we're gullible, we're yeah, that was true, that was right, that happened. In reality, some of this stuff never did happen. We live in such a dark time. It might have not been the darkest time, but we live in such a dark time where we need to learn how to become the light. And you might say, man, Johnny, I don't know what it's like to be the light. I don't know what it's like. Like I said, you might have a similar story to me. You might have been through some things. You might have taken some things and that's not the cue. You might have done some things to where sorry, I got a little sidetracked. But it's not the darkness that really matters. It's who you are inside. It's who you are inside. And that's why I wanted to tell you guys something, is that we all have something special inside of us. And you might not see it yet, but you do. I have something special inside of me. I feel like this is my gift, this is my calling to speak to people. You might have a different calling. You might be called to play football. You might be called to draw. Whatever your calling is, that's you. And you have to learn to shine that light as bright as you can. And the reason why I tell you this is because this. Let me tell you about this example. One of my favorite speakers was talking about this, and he was telling us what makes humans different than animals. You know, because humans feel emotions and animals feel emotions. You know, humans have relationships and so do animals have relationships. But the thing that makes us different, the thing that makes us, humanity, different, is that we can imagine. And I'll explain what I mean right now. What I mean by imagine is we can look and be like, you know what? I want to be a writer 10 years from now. Who has some dreams? Raise your hand if you have some dreams. We all have dreams, right? And that's what makes us different. Is that you can say, 10 years from now, I want to be a motivational speaker. 5 years from now, I want to, be in high school, one of the top athletes in the country. And that's what makes us special, is that we see the invisible. You don't see a giraffe saying, I want to be a full-time sprinter, like I want to make it to the track. No, you don't see giraffes doing that. You don't see eagles saying, hey, I want to be a rustler. No, the reason being is because that's what makes us unique. And see, we all are artists in our own way. We all create something. See, the question is not, can we create? The question is, what are we creating what are we creating of our world? Race. There's only one race on this earth, and that's the human race. That's us, humanity. And once we learn that there's no difference between the brother on our left, and there's no difference between the sister on our right, then that's when we can actually start making a change in this world. Once we see the difference, projects. And that's why I'm telling you guys, don't listen to the media. You create your own world. Don't be forced, because what we do technically is we look at social media and we see that girl on Twitter and we're like, dang, that girl is cute. We see, dang, she got a body. In reality, I'll be real. She got a body, and then we go and look for that girl and we don't find her, so you wonder why you're never satisfied with the relationships that you have. And then the girls, they go and they say, well, I want a guy like this who has a Jeep and who kisses me on the hand and does all this, but when we don't find him, when he comes back with the Toyota Corolla, that's why we're never satisfied. It's because we're so caught up in this image that we never find who we're destined to be inside. The greatest thing you can be on this earth is you. I came here to tell you guys that I'm not talking to people, to young kids who are destined for failure. I'm talking to some world shakers. I'm talking to some planet movers. I'm talking to some kids that are actually going to make a difference on this earth. But you have to learn to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. I didn't believe in myself at first. I was like, you know what, man? I'm not going to make a difference. Nobody wants to hear my story. Nobody wants to hear that my mom died. Nobody cares. But in reality, if you think about it, there's someone else that's mother has died, and maybe you can minister to that person. And then you can see the things that God has called you to do. I don't know what's your story here tonight. Honestly, I don't know what you're going through. You might be going through a hard relationship with your mother, your father, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. You might be struggling at home. Let me tell you this, I didn't have it all great in high school either. Nobody really knows this, but I went through some struggles. I went through having to save my lunch, saving my lunch from school so that I could go home and eat something when I get home. I've been there before. I don't come from some rich family. I may have some nice clothes on right now, but that's because I work for it now. But growing up, I didn't have all this. Some of you guys, you know what it's like going hungry at night. You know what it's like not having food on the table and saying, Mom, buy me some food. Dad, where's the food at? And they look at you and say, son, I'm sorry, I can't afford it. We'll eat tomorrow. So-and-so will bring over food tomorrow. And so you wait and you go to sleep hungry. Some of you guys go to sleep crying because you feel that emptiness the way I felt it. You guys feel what's going on in your hearts. But I came here to tell you guys that you guys can create something different. That don't let your struggle make a setback. Don't let your struggle create a setback. Let that setback pivot you to do something with your life to say, you know what, I'm going to make a difference in this world. Because that's what we need more than ever. We need people who are gonna make a difference. See, like I said, I really like talking about social media. The reason being I like talking about social media is because I have social media. I have an Instagram, I have a Twitter, I have a Facebook, I have Snapchat, and it's crazy because as a kid who grew up, a certain way with not having my mom and everything, I see all these people say this. Man, I don't know what I'll do without my mother. I don't know how I'll make it. And I look to them and I'm going to step off the stage and that's okay. I look to them and I say, I don't even say anything, I just think it to myself. I say, I wonder how I made it. They say, man, I don't know what I'd do without my dad. And I just think to myself, me neither. You asked me when I was 12 years old what I'd do without my mother, I would have laughed at you because I would have been like, my mom would never die. She's going to make it to 103. I never thought she would die. Through the sicknesses, through the pain, she would never die because she loves me. She'll stay on this earth and she's a good person. She'll never die. And you see all these things on social media, like I said, where people say, I don't know what I'll do without so-and-so. I don't know what I'll do without my parents. I love my parents so much. And I look at them, yeah, man, I wish I had my parents. I wish I had my mom. I wish I could call my mom right now and be like, Mom, I'm speaking at the sheriff's camp. I'm living my dream right now. Mom, come and watch it and put it on Facebook and show out all your friends what of a great son and how great your son is. I wish I could do that. I wish. I stood here accepting the Brad Fowler scholarship, and I sat here, and the only person grateful for those opportunities. We have to be grateful for those times. Because if we become grateful, then we'll learn to not take things for granted. And when you don't take things for granted, great things come your way. Out of gratefulness, you will see how people will be there for you and love you for who you are. And not for the things that you have, not for the J's you rock, not for the iPhone you carry, not for how many followers you have on Instagram. Because people will follow you because of that. People will want to be your friend because of that. But those who actually were there since day one, those who actually care about you, let's be grateful to them. Yeah? Let's be grateful to those who are actually making a difference in our lives. Once we learn to be grateful, we'll actually see a change within ourselves. And that's why I wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted to talk to you guys because you guys are the next generation. We are the next generation. And what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to fall into this social media trap? This trap that, you know what I mean? Like, well, that's just the way the world's going to be, bro. Right? That's just the way it's going to happen. You know, our world is going to split in two. It's going to be Trump versus Hillary, and that's just the way it's going to work. You know? In reality, no. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be a split into two. It doesn't have to be black and white. It doesn't have to be none of that. All it has to be is you rising up. You guys rising up and say, you know what? I'm going to make a change. I'm going to do something different with my life. That's what I did, and like I said before, let's make a change. Now, I've already talked about animals once, but I want to talk about them again, because they're really, really unique. They're really, really special. And what I want to say is this. How many of you guys know what makes an eagle different than a pigeon? Is that they don't fly at the same altitudes. They don't fly at the same altitudes. Because eagles don't fly in flocks. They fly all by themselves. And sometimes they join, once or twice with others. But they don't fly in flocks. And we're living in a generation where all we see is flocks. Oh, that's my squad. That's my crew. You know what I mean? Squad goals. You know what I mean? We fly with flocks. And we fly with media and what they produce. And we try to be like Justin Bieber. We try to be like Kim Kardashian. We try to be like these people who we see on TV, and we try to imitate them. But like I said before, the most important thing in life is to be yourself. So let's be eagles. Let's not fly with the flocks. Let's not fly with everyone and what everyone's doing it. Everyone's going out and smoking weed. Everyone's going out and doing all these crazy, staying out too late, just still paying their parents. Well, let's do it. No, let's make a change. Let's make a big change in the world. Let's make a change that's going to actually, change the directory of our world. Let's do something that's going to make a difference in society. And once we learn to stop flying with flocks, once we learn that we're actually higher than that, we're higher than the marijuana, we're higher than the things that we see on TV and what the media produces. Once we do that, we'll see great things. You might be a Brad Fowler, recipient, but you first must learn to be the light of the world. We have to be the light of the world. We have to be those who are not willing to be on a hill. You know what makes a lighthouse so different than any other house? Number one, it has light. Of course, yeah, obvious. But the thing that makes it different is that it's on a hill. So when sailors are out in the ocean and they see that light, you know what they say? Oh, well, I know where to go. I know where civilians are. I know where the land is. And once we become the light, once we show, listen, no matter what I've been through, once we become the light of this world, then we'll see a different change. We'll see people flocking to us and, hey, Johnny, how did you make it? If you guys want to come and talk to me after, you guys can. How'd you do it? And see, what we're doing right now is we're turning off the lights. The reason being is because when I say the light of the world, you might say it's hard to be the light. Because look, it's hard. I can't really light up the room. I can't really, if these other lights were turned off, you would really not be able to see my light as bright as it is. It doesn't make a big difference, does it? It doesn't make a big difference, does it? Exactly. So if Katie, would you turn on your light, please? Can you turn on your light, please? And if we can have some of the sheriff officers, if they can turn on their lights. And I don't know if you can tell, but I definitely can see you guys a little bit better. And if these other lights were off, I definitely can see you guys a little bit better than when I seen you guys before. And see, that's the way you guys are. You guys are a generation that needs to learn that you guys are the light of this world. And it may not look all bright, but you're lighting up something. You're lighting up your world in ways you don't even know it. You know, we're anything greater. It's just because we decided to be the light of our community. We decided to be the light in our families, to be the light of this world, and to be a city on a hill. And once you guys learn to become that city, to become that light, you'll see a change. I'm not going to live in negativity. I'm not going to live in doing things the wrong way. I'm going to do things the right way, and I'm going to make a change. Once we decide to make a change, once we decide to do something that's actually going to benefit, our lives and others, man, this world can change. And I believe in it because I do it every day. How many knows those people? Let me ask you a question. How many of you guys know those people who literally, you could be having the best day of your life, and they'll just bring you down? Does anybody know that person? Yeah, or those group of people? Yeah, we know those people. And do you know any person or any kid or anybody that will just brighten up your day? That if you just talk to them, they'll just brighten up your day? Now see, let me tell you this. If we don't learn to become those types of people where we just brighten people's days up, we'll get submerged and we'll drown by those who bring us down. We'll literally drown in our depression. How old am I? 18. I'm only 18, and I know some of you guys' faces like, he's 18? Yeah, I'm only 18, and doing what I'm doing because I've learned a big principle in my life. Is that if you start working hard now, everything else later is going to pay off. So, if you have any other questions, you can talk to me after. Like I said, I'll be staying for the food, of course. The food's amazing. It's awesome. So I'll be staying, me and my friend Diana will be staying in the back. So come by, shake our hands, talk to us. Thank you guys for the time.